What's up, everybody? I was lucky enough to grab myself a Nintendo Switch 2 at launch, and much like everyone else who was able to, I've been playing the absolute shit out of Mario Kart World the last few days, and I just wanted to give you guys my first impressions and a quick review of the latest in the Mario Kart series. For starters, I want to say first off, I am loving this game. There are a lot of things that are wrong with it. There are a lot of things that I have issues with. Like for starters, the game's namesake and the open world. The big new thing with Mario Kart World is of course the brand new open world, and in terms of an open world for a racing game, it's kind of disappointing. It's quite underwhelming, and honestly there isn't a lot to do, especially by the standards of open world racing games today. Hell, it would be underwhelming by the standards of open world racing games 10 years ago. To get into free roam can be a bit confusing, and the game doesn't really do a good job of explaining it that well. But to go into free roam from the main menu, you have to select the map at the bottom, and then from there you can either select the character that's out in the world, or you can select a track. But once you get into the open world, it's almost completely void of anything interesting to do. There are some things like the P block challenges or some challenge coins that you can try to collect through the world, which a few of them can test your skills. However, none of them seem to take more than just a couple tries, and they all last just a few seconds. Roaming around the open world, you can also see other characters driving around, which can look really fun and add some life until you realize that this is simply just a shadow and not an actual mechanic in the game. There is no interacting with these characters out in the world. You may see Mario or Goomba or somebody driving around, but other than crashing into them, there is no interaction. Remember back in Need for Speed Underground 2, where if you saw a random car driving around, you could challenge it to an impromptu race? Mechanics like that have been implemented into open world racing games such as Forza Horizon for years now, and it's kind of a shame to see that Mario Kart sort of strip all these kinds of open world aspects away, and things that we've come to not only expect but enjoy in open world racing games. You can see characters out in the open world end up going onto the tracks and racing around, but you can't ever really do anything with them. They just end up going around in circles. I mean, look at this. I'm driving around, following Pauline to see if she does anything interesting, and all this bitch does is bust a U-turn and go right back to where she came from. But what the open world lacks in gameplay, it sort of makes up for in personality and visuals. You do see a grand scale city far off in distant locations, and you want to drive there, and you can. And seeing small details like Toad driving around a police cruiser is fun, but it's all set dressing for what ends up being a sort of bland and unnecessary addition to the Mario Kart formula that we have all come to love by now. Although seeing Toad in a cop car does make me wish that this game sort of had some impromptu street races with police trying to stop you. It's kinda sad to see that the open world is so underwhelming, but like I said earlier, the personality in this game truly does help elevate everything. This game is oozing with personality that just screams fun. From characters dancing in the character select screen, to the unique celebrations they do when they win or lose, this game is a whole lot of fun, and it knows it. A lot of that fun comes from a combination of both old and new gameplay elements. Let's start with what remains the same before we get to any changes. If you want Mario Kart World to play and feel just like Mario Kart, you're in luck, because Mario Kart World is basically just more Mario Kart, but now without the anti-gravity track layouts that the previous title had. Karts drift like they did in previous games, transforming from karts to boats to planes, each one feeling unique with their own control styles. Items work much like they did in the past. The further back you are, the more powerful items you can get. The further up, the less powerful those items become, all in an attempt to even the playing field. Basically what I'm saying is that the game control is amazing and feels exactly how you would expect, and mostly carry over from the previous titles. But some things also have changed. Outside of the new Grand Prix format, which I will talk more about in just a little bit, The game implements the open world into the races, with increasing the max number of racers from 8 to 24 players. Every track in the game, both old and new, has been reworked to accommodate the higher number of players. The tracks are wider, not as many sharp turns, and not as many tracks that require you to bounce around on platforms over bottomless pits. The track design is a lot more grounded, by Mario Kart standards at least, and it is very generous and open. But with that higher number of players comes a lot more chaos, especially in the middle of the pack. Another new aspect is rail grinding and wall riding. See a rail in the middle of the road or a wire from the ground going up? Make like Tony Hawk and grind that shit. For the most part, it seems like the ones that are very obvious don't give you too much of an advantage. In fact, they may actually just slow you down in the end because you can't get any drift boost from them. But the key to rail grinding is to find the alternative paths that let you soar above the competition. I didn't notice this until reviewing the footage, but now I went back and I saw these metal girders above the track and I wanted to try to make it across to see if I can grind on these to get an advantage, and I could. Seeing these alternative paths within the racetrack makes you want to keep coming back to the tracks over and over again and experimenting to see what works and what new moves you can pull off. It's honestly very satisfying when you find something out like that. Two things that were removed from this game that were in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are 200cc races and kart customization. Arguably the most important Mario Kart game that should feature customization and freedom of expression is the game to remove the feature altogether. Instead, we are now back to unlocking pre-made carts with coins that we gather during the races. The only customization we do end up getting is various outfits that we can unlock by visiting fast food joints around the map, which can give your character a cool new outfit. Oh, and stickers for your profile. But that's it. How do you make an open world racing game where kart customization is nowhere to be seen? Not even colors. The track selection in this game is unfortunately less than what you got in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, with only 28 tracks as opposed to 8 Deluxe's 48 tracks without the expansion. The numbers get worse when you think about the fact that this game, Nintendo is trying to charge you $80, and that costs almost as much as 8 Deluxe with the expansion, which doubled the game's track list to 96 tracks. Even with the open world taking up a majority of your time in the Grand Prix, it doesn't replace the unique and specially designed courses that each have a distinct set of design and gimmicks that you're not getting here. Instead, this time, you are sacrificing a larger number of tracks for more of a variety of ways to navigate through the select ones that you have. And you can experience these tracks through the variety of game modes that the game has. First off, the classic, the Grand Prix. Unlike in previous Mario Karts, Grand Prix aren't 3 laps on 4 separate tracks, instead implementing some point-to-point races between the stadiums as part of the race. While the first race of a GP starts out like before, with 3 back-to-back laps on the same track, once the race is finished, a new race begins and you make your way from the track that you're currently on to the next track through the game's open world. But for me, Knockout Tour is the highlight mode of the game. Straight up point-to-point races through the open world. At each set point, the bottom 4 players will be eliminated and the rest will continue on until it is down to the final 4. This mode allows you to see a large section of the world and visit a number of locations and biomes. Other than that, we have the returning battle mode, but unfortunately it has seen quite a significant downgrade from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. There's only 2 options this time, Balloon Battle and Coin Runner. Some classic modes, but 8 Deluxe also had Renegade Roundup, Bob-omb Blast, and Shine Thief. Where'd these go? Why are we getting less game this time around for more money than we were previously? But other than that, we also have the time trials, which are just as they sound. Try to beat your best time around each track, but it's a good way to try and see what alternative pathways you could take in the tracks themselves. And finally, there's versus races, which allow you to customize the race aspects such as speed, teams, items, difficulty, and number of races. One neat thing is that you can make it so that the races connect together like they do in the standard GP, or you can make it more traditional by being just the tracks without having to drive to them. Sort of like a classic mode, but I would like to still see a classic mode implemented in the game in future updates. Theoretically, the versus mode could allow players to make a race that spans through the entire world. Unfortunately, when I tried it, it tended to skip the connection between the second and third race, not allowing you to travel from point to point between those two and just starting you off on the third race. I would like to see this ability to customize and create your own knockout tours and races and Grand Prix to be implemented into the online feature, or at least with friends in split screen. But unfortunately, this game mode is currently limited to just single player. But while those are limited to single player, we do still have the game's multiplayer, and this is where Mario Kart has always shined. I am now happy to report that the woes of Nintendo's online offerings of the past are nowhere to be seen here. It seems like Nintendo's online offerings have finally caught up to what we saw on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Kind of. While I haven't been able to test it out myself because I don't have the new Pro Controller with a 3.5mm headphone jack, and I'm not about to drop $70 on a webcam, so I wasn't able to try the chat features, but I doubt Nintendo would allow people to talk to each other like it's a COD lobby. Oh, you mother... And shove it up your... Before I... With the dog too. Finding a match takes no time at all, and when you do join, you are thrown into an open world with all the other players, allowing you to meet up and drive around together before the race begins. And when the race is over, you are thrust back into the open world with everyone else until the next round begins. No backing out to the menus, no searching for a new lobby, you just pick right up where you left off, and it feels so good to casually drive along with someone who just destroyed you a few moments ago. And then we also have local split screen multiplayer, which is just as easy as it has ever been. Simply connect up to 4 controllers or locally link up multiple systems like it was with the Switch, and prepare for one of the most fun experiences you will ever have on a Nintendo system, only challenged by Smash Brothers and Mario Party. Shout out to my buddy 2Rip for coming over in the middle of the night to help me record some split screen gameplay for this video. Better luck next time, because next time we're going to be doing Mario Kart. Stay tuned for that video. And all the while, the game is solidly built. All the footage you're seeing here is captured at 4K 30 FPS from the Switch 2's dock mode. The game also does run at 1080p at 120 frames per second in handheld, and it looks smooth as butter. I have zero performance issues. It's a solid, stable frame rate, even when things get in the heat of the moment and they get hectic. Now, I know that this video started out as me sort of just shitting all over the game's open world, but overall the game is actually a ton of fun. And while it does see plenty of quality of life improvements over the predecessors in regards to the online, and the core gameplay remains intact and just as fun as it was before, the major issue with this game is the $80 price tag that Nintendo has slapped onto it. It seems like with every step forward that this game takes, another aspect just takes a step back. Had this game released for the standard $60 or $70, the possibly mediocre open world and less tracks could be forgiven, as the open world can be updated over time, and even the original tracks in 8 Deluxe included the DLC tracks from 8 on the Wii U, and more things could easily be fixed or implemented in free or paid DLC in the future. However, for the game's current $80 price tag, the expectation is that Nintendo would have put more into this game to justify that price and blow us all away. But unfortunately, there are games from 2 or 3 console generations ago that have better open worlds than this, and it's simply unacceptable. Possibly future updates and DLC can make this game finally worth the price of admission, but I'm still having a ton of fun with the game despite this, and I will definitely continue to have fun. I'll probably post a few more videos of me and some friends playing together in the near future, but until then, what do you guys think? Were you able to get your hands on a Switch too? Are you waiting to see if the price drops? Have you been playing and enjoying, or have you been hating Mario Kart World? Leave a like, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.